Hey folks, Paul Abernathy here. Welcome to another episode of the Executive Drive. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about a concept that you're not going to hear me talk about on the articles that I write for ECNM Magazine or generally in a normal type of podcast where I'm teaching the code or doing something like that. The topic I want to talk about today uh, is called a term that we use sometimes when a local jurisdiction oversteps their authority or maybe requires something that it's not in the National Electrical Code, but it's just something that the local inspector wants or the maybe the individual inspector within a jurisdiction wants, and they want something to be done that is above the minimum standard of the code or something that they can't justify, but they just want you to do it because maybe it's something they did or they were forced to do at some time when they were actually an electrician or an installer, and imposing their own wills on a project without being able to justify why. It's just do as I say, and that's it. And that is called the God complex. And I'm sure that many of you have heard that terminology used throughout the industry. And in trying to be fair in this episode, when I'm talking about inspectors and electricians, and obviously there's always two sides to everything. And one of the things that I started writing the articles for ECNM magazine called the uh, uh, basically inspection intel or inspector intel and things like that was to kind of give an understanding of how both parties are involved in a mutual relationship. However, it is not something that I'm going to talk about in that kind of series because it can be kind of negative, and we don't want to be negative. We want to be positive, especially when you're putting out something in a publication. But there is a side to this that people that come to me that they know that I don't candy coat it. I just say it how it is, and knowing that I have been ahead of multiple jurisdictions when it came to the inspectors, being an inspector, being a plan reviewer, being an engineer too for a large municipality, in fact, Richmond, Virginia, which was the capital of Virginia, and overseeing an inspections department, and then ending up in Alexandria, Virginia, overseeing electrical inspections and fire alarm aspects of that part. Um, you come to realize certain things, and is that sometimes, every now and then, you'll get an inspector who I guess maybe they've been doing it for a really long time and they formulated opinions or how they feel about certain things, and they sometimes can come on real aggressive and basically impose their own personal wills on an installation that, for one, they can't justify why. They just impose their own will, or some way in the skewness of their thought process they think that this makes something better than something else, and so that's why they're pushing it. But it's usually not documented anywhere within the jurisdiction. It's not department wide that everybody's doing it the same way. They kind of go rogue, and that creates a lot of friction sometimes for electricians that are interacting with the inspections because, not that electricians know more than the inspector. Many do, but when it comes to codes and requirements, a lot of electricians, we rely on the inspectors to be up to date on changes, and they go to training for that. Now, we do that as electricians, we go to code update training, but you know, we rely on this mutual relationship. And when you get a case where you may have an inspector who imposes their own wills on something without justification, that's a problem because it creates a situation where nobody trusts anybody anymore and it becomes adversary. And that doesn't help the entire process. One of the things that's funny, one of the things I used to tell inspectors when I would hire them, in fact, y'all probably have heard me talk about Jeff Harris, which is a dear, dear friend of mine, very deep personal friend. I hired him to take over my role at the city of Richmond. He was actually hired to be an inspector, and he was hired because we had hired somebody else, and I went out with that person for a day to kind of give him the ropes. And, and at the end of the day, the guy had a heart attack and died. I took a lot of crap for that, but it was nothing we didn't do to everybody. And Jeff wasn't the first choice, but I didn't know Jeff at the time. But he was the next on the list and met the qualifications, so we called him in. In one of the conversations I had with Jeff as a new inspector, which Jeff was a master electrician for years, one of our very first conversation with Jeff, and he'd tell you this, is that I said, you know, what you did as an electrician, or what may have been pushed onto you by others, or what you were forced to do by other possible jurisdictions in the area, should play zero role in how you make judgment as an inspector. And he looked at me kind of perplexed. He says, but don't you want my experience as an electrician? I said, yes. I want that knowledge of being an electrician without imposing things on other people that you do not have true validation for. And that is why I'm here. That's why you as an inspector come to me. Utilize my years of experience, and I will do my best to guide you. That's what a mentor does. That's what your supervisor should be doing. Rather than chastising you, they should be mentoring you. And I always mentored all of my inspectors the best that I could. Not as a know-it-all, but as a mentor in being involved in so many things. And anyway, I told Jeff, I said, Jeff, when you become an inspector, you've got to take that electrician hat and you got to turn it around, because now you're wearing an inspector's hat. And an inspector has to look at things from the eyes of simplicity when it comes to the National Electrical Code or local amendments or jurisdictional amendments that are in writing. That's what you enforce. What you don't do is make up stuff, look at something and fail somebody. If in your mind you don't know the reason why you're failing them, then you should not fail them. That's important, because if you're making up stuff, if you're not validating facts, and you're just forcing people to do things because maybe somebody forced you to do it in the past, then that's not the path forward. And that's not what was going to be allowed in our department. So Jeff learned that early on, that you do not impose your personal wills, your personal beliefs onto somebody else if you don't 100% know that it's factual, or that you have filtered it through other people to get interpretations, or at least gone back to meetings. I held training every week, whether it was in Richmond or was Alexandria. We did training all the time. And so inspectors could bring something to the group and we would agree on it collectively. I can't say every jurisdiction does that. My jurisdictions did that. That's how we developed our policies, so that we didn't have one inspector imposing one thing and then the other inspector in the group doing something else, and it causes a conflict. That's what we did. And I encourage that in every jurisdiction. But there are inspectors out there that will go rogue, that will, say they've been doing it for 30 years, 40 years, and their way is the only way, and try to push things on folks. This is why in November, EC&M Magazine is putting out an article I wrote that is basically talking about things like physical damage, severe physical damage, the interpretation that an inspector has to make, and the importance of that interpretation. The understanding that, yes, the AHJ or the inspector who's acting on behalf of the AHJ is the authority. They're the ones that have to make sure of compliance, but that's minimum compliance. A God complex would be forcing somebody to do something that is beyond the scope of what the code standard says. So I encourage all inspectors out there, and I encourage electricians too. We all have to get along. I would encourage the relationship to be not so much adversarial, but more complementative, to the point where ask each other for clarification. Don't be afraid to go over an inspector's head, because retaliation is a totally different topic that we could talk about. But the focus is clarity. And anytime you have an inspector who just imposes their will and you ask them a question and they say, I don't care, you're doing it because I say so, that's a God complex, and that has to be corrected. Whether you do it, somebody's got to do it. But again, we don't need inspectors out there with God complexes. Simply enforce the minimum safety standard, and that's your role. That's what your job is as an inspector. Not to impose things that you can't document, that you can't prove. Just because you may have been forced to do it when you were an electrician does not mean you have to hammer it down the throat of somebody else. All right? Thanks for joining me on this edition of the Executive Drive. We'll catch you in the next episode. Take care. God bless.